Hello and welcome everyone. We are just about to start our best out of five Age of Mythology show match here. We do got two very good players that you guys might be familiar with. We have Ayah and Lorenzo coming up. So as you may know, Ayah played in the previous show matches. He played in the past 3 or 4 of them, I believe. It might have been 3. And he's won every one of them. Hence why he's here today. And so today's opponent is my co-caster, but he's not here with us today because he will be playing against Ayah. So it's going to be Ayah versus Lorenzo, and we are expecting to start here in just a few minutes.
How good is Lorenzo there?
So some of you have asked,
What's his RR?
how good is Lorenzo, and where is Lorenzo from? What does he do? How good is he? So he's an old player. He's an expert. Well, not technically an expert, but
In his own way.
he is an expert in his own right. He has been playing for over. He's one of the oldest players still around, actually. He's been playing since 2004 or so, and his play style is more of like an old type play style. Now, keep in mind this is no patch, and so this is a no patch play style that we're going to be expecting here, and Lorenzo knows all about it. His like as you guys know, he's been commentating with myself in the previous tournament and as well as the previous show matches, and he's got a lot of knowledge to share, and so that knowledge is going to be put to the test here today. I still, obviously, I could be still the favorite because he's been a lot more active um, in the game. Um, as for Lorenzo, he hasn't been as active in the past few years in regards to gameplay. So this should be interesting to watch. Looks like we do have a Ra being played by Ayah, and we're going to be having, looks to be Isis by, or no, Oranos. Okay, so here we go. We have Oranos by um, Lorenzo. So it's going to be Ra versus Oranos here in our first match of the series. And here we go. Right side of the map, we have Lorenzo, and he is playing Oranos in red, and on the left, we do of course have Ayah playing again in this show match, playing as blue, and he is Ra. So we do have the scout, his scout, aka his pharaoh. This is going to be scouting for now. Um, Now keep in mind we do see a Tundra map that we're playing on here today. A very aggressive map. Um, a very good map for Oranos, perhaps. Ra tends to need more defensive maps just because of Ra's playstyle. Ra is more of a defensive god. We definitely could see a 2TC here by Ra. A 2TC fast heroic. I'm just going to spit out different strategies that Ra could pull off. Obviously, they could, stay in classical, make units with the 2 TC, or they could go straight heroic. We'd have to get a better outlook on the map to see exactly where his forward push would be at, but we already see that the gold mines are rather spread out here on this map, which they typically are. Here for the Oranos player, I good team bad, aka Lorenzo. We see that he's already started with the guild and hunting dogs. I did recently get tooltips. I know it's a long time waiting, but I did recently get tooltips, and so we are able to see some more statistics on everything that is happening here. Anyhow, Ayah's doing a good job scouting there with the sheep. We have some additional scouting by the Oranos player. He doesn't tend to sit in one spot. Well, I guess he is with this one. But it seems like his way of scouting with Oranos is just moving his oracles around. Now, I am excited for these matches because Lorenzo is a very old school player, a very good player, and high caliber. He was high caliber, so should be interesting to see what comes up out of this here. We do see a defensive temple already by the Ra player, as they should. That gold mine is rather aggressive, so that could be an issue for Ayah if Oranos does pressure this gold mine, as it does seem quite exposed. We do have Ayah hunting there in the middle of the map, perhaps saving these Oroks for later. And we already have a relic that increases hero speed by 10% for Ayah. Normally it's 2 relics per map, I think. So this one here.
You think he's gonna go for the forward TC or the back TC first?
Yeah, I guess that's a decent relic. So we're going to get this defensive walls here, some more walls here, some additional houses and stuff. We could see a shifting sands perhaps by the Ra player against the Oranos, but I do not see any harassment on the villagers. We do have a villager at low health here, probably due to the hunt here. So shifting sands could definitely probably get 2 villagers. We do see the forward pharaoh now moving in. We do have the 3 oracles, and we do now have the heroes. So at this point in time, we can expect a 2 TC here quite shortly by the Ra player. It does seem like this second TC is not protecting much. This pharaoh has to get out. Lorenzo knows that he's here only to shift away his villagers, and so he's got these oracles going after this pharaoh back here, and it does seem like this pharaoh will go around the trees and to the back and attempt to find a low health villager. As we can see, the units are going around the tree now. So it does seem like the pharaoh has been found, and I hope he doesn't find these villagers. Well, it does seem like he will find them, but he deposited them. Very smart. It does seem like there is quite a bit of idle time though, but Lorenzo is really on top of his game and keeping them away from the shifting sands here. So a very good play there. We do see that he's popped, or no, he wasn't popped. I'm not sure what, perhaps he was popped and he just built that manor, I'm not sure. Anyway, we do now have this second TC by Ayah, but it is protecting some hunt, it looks like, and some wood. We are still chasing this pharaoh down, still more idle time. and this pharaoh should be going down at any moment. As for this gold mine, Ayah is still mining here without too many issues. We do not see it pressured yet. We could be expecting pressure in the next minute or so. It does seem like the pharaoh died, and so we do see some additional walls being built now. And the first monument being built there now by Ayah. I'm not entirely sure if the monument is supposed to be built that late with Egyptian. I think it's not supposed to be. Typically, you would want to build it on your way to classical. But both players are in good position right now. Although Ayah has been on second TC for some time, he is lucky to have this hunt here, and of course this wood line. Once this gold mine runs out, though, he's going to have to find either this gold mine or perhaps this gold mine over here. So one of those three. And we do have some aggression there now happening from the right side. He might or may not. Okay, looks like he's going to save the bill. He does only have pickaxe so far. This tower may go down. And we do have the armory being built now, second monument. And it does look like a heroic is being executed. Lorenzo now building a second town center. And he's still on hunting dogs at this moment and is not queuing any units. And so I suppose it's more of a contain type strategy. So he's not looking to pressure the Egyptian player too much here. More or less just contain him, just to keep him, harass him a little bit. Because it does seem quite clearly that he is focusing heavily on the economy. As we see now, a third town center being built by the Aranos player. This perhaps could tell us that he's looking to stay in classical. And now we do have this mainer close by just to protect that villager as he's building that town center. So I should put that that scoreboard up there for you guys. I know you guys were asking about it, so there we go. Ayah versus Lorenzo. And match number 1. So we do see now that Ayah has went out to this gold mine here. A very good move. Immediately building walls to protect it. And Lorenzo already with this third TC here in the next minute or so. And perhaps he will be staying in the classical age. We do see some harassment here. But now his gold mine has run out. So clearly the Aranos player, or Lorenzo in this case, he knows that that gold mine is out, and so he'll be looking to see where he's collecting gold now. This is a very nice wall here. Obviously this is not enough military to break through it, so perhaps he'll be coming around this way. He does have a term on this gold mine. He does scout this gold mine here. And so There's only one gold mine left to scout, and that's this one here. Does have 28 bills on this one. So it's 2 to 3 TC currently, and we do now have heroic age. Perhaps we could get a Migdal up and built here. Some chariots, elephants being made, or perhaps chariots and camels. We'll have to see and find out what their unit composition is. We'll get some army upgrades. It does seem like Ayah is pretty heavy on food right now. And we already have the market being built by Ayah. This seems to be a very good battle for Lorenzo. Although that shifting stance could hurt. It does seem like this is a very good battle for Lorenzo actually. He does still have his heroes. He did find an opening right here. That could mean trouble, honestly, for Ayah because of that opening here by the wall. Well, actually, it seems like the damage done here was mostly idle villager time, but Lorenzo did lose most of his army. I guess no Migdal yet, but rather some additional classical units being made here. We do not have any upgrades yet. And so we do have another scarab. We have more scarabs on the go. So we could be expecting some more, I guess, scarabs will be the siege in this case, and a ton of classical units. But Ayah will be sitting on 2 TC for the near future here, while Lorenzo's on 3 TC. So I think his economy is better, although Ayah is now on his way to Mythic, which is a big deal because Lorenzo is still in classical age. So we do now have Mythic age by Ayah, and obviously the Son of Osiris is a huge issue. And now we do have the third TC by Ayah, the blue player. Basically, this Osiris just rips through everything. And there it is. That is the resignation by Lorenzo here in game number 1. It was a good effort. I see what he tried to do there. Obviously, he tried to boom, trying to not to lose army. But I think Urano's expertise is to pressure, to keep the pressure on, and not to let Egyptian player gather gold. I think especially on a map like this where you could have pressured this forward mine and this mine here. But I have to give it to Ayah. He played it really well with the walls. Walls was a big factor here. And so it's a win, well deserved. So we'll go on to match number 2 now. Match number 2 and the best of 5. So stay tuned. So we do have match number 2 on the go. Okay, so we'll be updating the score here for Ayah. He did win the first match. And we will be starting match number 2 here shortly. So you guys spoke about the timer overlay. Okay, I'll tell you guys a time in game at the time periodically. And I'll be back in just a minute here. Okay, so we're back here and we're on to match number 2. in this best out of 5, and this time we have Zeus being played by Lorenzo. It is 1-0, and this map will be Anatolia. And Anatolia is a very good map for Egyptian, but also a very good map for Zeus. Zeus is very versatile, many different strategies they can execute. So I will introduce the players in this match number 2. Ayah playing Set here at the bottom, and Lorenzo playing Zeus in blue. It does seem like they'll be building docks on opposite sides here at the beginning. This tells us that each player is more likely to have at least one side of the water later in the game. Perhaps better for Zeus. Anyway, we are moving along in this match, and we already have good insight of what the map looks like here in the middle. It does seem like the gold mines are queued towards Lorenzo's side, so it does seem like he's got a better map in that aspect. I'm not sure whose third TC this is. We do have starting hunt, and we have starting berries for Ayah, but also hunt. Well, I suppose he's using the hunt to convert as Set, so he'll be on the berries instead. And already here, second dock on one side for the Set player. So we could be expecting a few different things here by Set and Zeus. I think Zeus could go Dionysus, make Skyla on both sides. I've seen it done. I've also seen just basically a classical rush of hoplites, Athena, straight into Ayah's base, you know, just some kind of like surprise attack. Just have like 3-4 barrackses right here in the middle of the map and just surprise attack and don't even fight water, go straight for the main TC as Zeus. Zeus can do that. They could go fast heroic, Dionysus. They could go fast mythic, but also fighting water. So there's many different things that could happen here. We'll have to wait and find out to see what strategy is going to be executed. It does seem like the wood line for Lorenzo is better since Ayah is cutting wood in his forward. This seems like a very thin wood line, so he wouldn't want to cut from here, because if he cuts from here, then army can leak through and penetrate. So he is cutting from the forward, although it's not that great because obviously you got forward villagers. This wood line is a lot better. It's more thick, and it's closer to the town center, to the side, not forward. It does seem like one board was lost there somewhere. We now have the third dock by Ayah. I believe that's the third. 1, 2, yeah, that's the third dock by Ayah being built now. And Lorenzo does have his second dock on the other side. And we'll be expecting a classical now any moment within the next minute for both players here. That's a very good relic. 25% cost savings on caravans and an additional 15% speed. So obviously that is a very important relic there to get. The Eye of Horus, +2 town center supply provided. I assume that's a translation for +2 town center population provided. So that's also another very good relic. So the time in game, just so everyone knows, at the time of speaking right now, it is 5:08, 5:09, 5:10. So that is currently where we're at. We do have Hermes now by the Zeus player, and Phthah for the Set player. It does seem like Lorenzo will get it first, as normally they do before the Egyptian players on this map. We do now have 2 docks. Ooh, does it look like he will lose this Ville? He might as well lose this Ville, yes. There goes that boar. So we do have 4 docks, sorry, on this side of the map, as opposed to 2 docks from Ayah and 2 docks from Lorenzo on the other side. So we do now have Hermes, and we do have forward Centaur. Set tends to be very good at map control, and so I don't see. Perhaps the Set player will set up base, go heroic and set up base here, perhaps. Okay, shifting sands. We do see 3 bills lost for Lorenzo. That's unfortunate. Not sure he's going to lose all 3 bills actually. Yeah, it does seem like it. Okay. So yeah, that's 3 bills there, and Ayah now, I guess, you know, pushing with some of these animals which aren't doing much damage. So we will be expecting some play here on the right sides of the map, where both players will try to engage for water control. Doesn't seem like there's much engagement on this side by Ayah, but Lorenzo does have boats on both sides. And we do have Dionysus. Going straight Dionysus. We're already at 30%. But it does seem like Lorenzo will need to save these boats. We only have 1 guy praying at the temple. And let's take a look at who's got mining pickaxe. So, just so you guys know, at the time of speaking now, we're at 8:03, 8:04, 8:05 in game time. And we do have some very aggressive play by Ayah here on the water. And we do get that +2 town center population by Lorenzo, but he has not gotten that other relic yet. I'm sure he does see it. I mean, it will come in handy. And here we go. We do have some Skyla. We have 3 Skyla now. Although Lorenzo did lose some boats. It's a little bit of a sloppy play there. But again, that comes with practice of playing over and over again. Obviously, he is rusty, but he is executing the correct strategies that are supposed to be executed. Speaking on this map, I do think Skyla is a very good strategy here. He'll be able to clean this up. And we do have Ayah going heroic now at 70%. He'll be making hammer boats to counter the Scylla or Skyla. I guess it's Scylla. or Skyla, whichever. We do some have Hydras. Hydras is a pretty good unit to make on a high when you have a lot of food, I suppose. They do cost mostly food, so making Hydras could be a good idea here. Especially since you could use the Hydra to kill off some animals, some hunt and stuff to gain some extra heads and double your attack. And already good team iBad is making a forward up in the front here. Nisilla is making some massive damage. We do have some idle boats as well on the sides, and we have some very aggressive play here by Lorenzo. And does seem like that Scorpion Man will survive to tell another day. We do have some very good upgrades by Ayah. And we have decent upgrades, just still the classical upgrades by good team I'm bad. Or sorry, he's good and his team is bad. My apologies. So if you guys don't know, usually when he plays, it's that he's the good player, but his team is the bad players. That's what his nickname means. So anyway, it does seem like the Scorpion is going to be healed up, which is very good. Obviously, myth units are very important. Good team I'm bad still has bronze, so this is very important, and he does still have ceasefire. Although Ayah clean up the water is an issue, so he's going to have to make a move fast because he is losing water here, losing economy especially. Ayah already on 2 TC. And also, another thing I want to point out is this map is heavily in favor of Lorenzo, I think, just because of how this TC is blocked off from the red player. And so it's going to be very hard for the red player to get access here, especially here. Not to mention the gold mines. I think the closest gold mine to Ayah is this one here. And so we do now have the forward Migdal being built. So we could be expecting Lorenzo moving his army this way and using bronze, as he no longer has any more gold here. So we do have okay, there's the bronze now. We have double Migdal being built. And so with that ceasefire, we do still have roughly 15 seconds of bronze. We are currently at speaking at 13:40 in game time, 13:45, 13:46. So Ayah does now go for that third town center. So obviously, looking at the score, Ayah has a better economy, and that's just overall because of the water here. He was able to capture the water, and keep more water control for himself. also pushing Lorenzo off most of the water here. So anyway, we're back to fighting. And we do have that tornado at the home base. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to destroy that TC, as tornado is normally unpredictable. It's not looking good here for Lorenzo. And it is GG here. So that is 2-0 for Ayah. Now keep in mind, this is a very good map for Egyptian, just because they start with 2 gold mines and they have 2 sides of the water that can easily be protected by shooting docks. So again, good effort here by Lorenzo, but we'll have to wait and find out what happens here in the upcoming match, match number 3. So as we can see here, obviously the economy started to go off for Ayah here, right around the 6-minute mark. And that's just due to the water. I think water control. Perhaps Lorenzo gave up a little bit too early on it. Although I think the map was more in favor of Lorenzo, but the matchup was in favor of the Egyptian player. So we do have match number 3 on the go. So that brings us to 2-0 currently for Ayah. And we will be starting match number 3 here shortly, in a few minutes time, so tune in. Okay, we are back in action here, and we're just about to start match number 3. Hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far. Is he gonna do it? Uh-oh. We got some trouble now. We got some trouble now. We have Gaia being played by Ayah, and good team, or I should say I good and team is bad, is playing Oranos, aka Lorenzo. So we do have here now on Ghost Lake, and it does seem like it's a 1 gold variation map. This should be interesting. Oranos now has to, in this kind of matchup against Gaia, you want to try to spam myth units. And so it's just because it's very hard for the Gaia player to deal with myth units. So normally that's the strategy. That's the number 1 strategy against Gaia, really, is just to spam myth units and to pick off his heroes. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out here. Already seeing 2 different types of gameplay. Lorenzo using the scouting tactic by just standing his oracles, while Ayah is moving around and gathering some sheep. We do have 5 sheep, 4, 6, and already 3 TCs scouted. So yeah, so far it does seem like it's only the Oranos player that has gotten hunting dogs. Ayah has not bothered to get hunting dogs. I suppose he just went straight for the berries there. He did not scout the boars in time, I assume. Whereas the boars for the Oranos player were in the line of sight, hence why he got hunting dogs. So already in favor of Lorenzo's end here in that regard. We also see a backward mine for the Oranos player and a forward mine by the Gaia player. So again, that is a good advantage for our underdog, Red. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Gaia to take care of this. Now obviously he is building trees in front of that gold mine in effort to block it and to save that gold mine there. So we are going to be seeing a classical age, obviously very, very shortly. We do see additional hunt for Lorenzo on the side. It does seem like 2 polar bears, a very good amount of hunt there, with some caribous, whereas for Ayah, he is now just finding his first batch of hunt. And we do not see an economic guild by the Gaia player, although I believe they get cheaper stuff, don't they? They get cheaper technologies, right? I think. Where do we find that? Okay, yeah, they do get cheaper technologies. I don't know exactly by how much. I think it's 15% or so. Somebody can correct me in the chat. So anyway, we do now have Oceanus, and we are now at the 4-minute mark as of the time of speaking, 4:02, 4:03, and we have 40% Prometheus for Lorenzo. So already 2 counter barracks being built. We're seeing a very aggressive Gaia play here, actually. A very aggressive Gaia play, matter of fact. Ayah does have 11 hit point Oracle here, so that could be an issue. And that Oracle's being healed by that Caladria. And so good team, bad, will have to abandon ship. Well, that Oracle would have had to abandon ship, but it seems like instead he will get some idle time on the citizens. And we do have some backup arriving now. So noticeably, so already now you can see that how the units for the Gaia player are noticeably slower. We do already now have, instead of the 2 counter barracks, we have 1 Marmello and 1 Terma. And we do have a house, and those villagers are saved for now. They are saved to gather food another day. So we do have more Terma on the go here. And and we do have Baylor now being used. Now, good team, Mr. Bad is got 3 Prometheus there now in the forward, and the Shockwave obviously is going to knock out some of these Termas, and that's going to be an issue. He does have 2 idle villagers still in this town, in this house here, but they are now gathering food. So I'm just going to quickly update the gods. Obviously we have Ayah. He is playing Gaia, and Lorenzo is playing Ronos. There we go. So we do see another encounter here. Obviously the Caladria doesn't heal as much when units are moving. So I think the Economic Guild is really making a difference in this score. As you can see, it's really taking effect. I think that's to do with the Economic Guild and hunting dogs. It does seem like a good team I'm Bad is outnumbered in units. However, he does have myth units, so Ayah cannot fight this directly, cost effectively. He would have to purchase some heroes. I'm not sure why this Marmello hero is just chilling. What's he doing exactly? I'm not sure where he's going. I suppose just a scout. So we do now have our first military barracks by the Gaia player, and we do not have any. We just have economic. We just have hunting dogs there by the Ronos. So yeah, I think that Marmello is just to go around and scout. It's kind of hard to hit it, just because of that Aranos hero. Marmello is very quick, 5.2 speed. We got 5 speed here by the Gaia player, so not even the Terma can chase these down. So we do see an engagement here now, and obviously it's an issue that Ayah has a forward mine. And here we go now. I don't see that Ayah purchased any heroes yet, and so except for that oracle from earlier. So obviously dealing with this Prometheans is an issue. Yeah, we do see Ayah now climbing on top in score there. And now obviously we do have myth units versus regular units, but they are backing away. And we do have now a forest. I'm not sure where that forest was used. Dealing with these myth units also obviously an issue for the Gaia player. Okay, there's a forest back there, so I suppose just you know, to avoid to help avoid the opponent from, you know, running through his base throughout the back there. So obviously there's a lot of pressure here by the Oranos player on the Gaia. And we do have a further engagement here. And interestingly enough, we have Cheerio Ballista by Oranos. And we do have more Cheerio Ballista on the go. We have 2 counter barracks. So we will be expecting a second town center, I think. Perhaps right here, as it's protecting a gold mine. Better than this town center, in my opinion. So the pressure is on here. And we'll take a look. We do not have an economic guild yet by the Gaia player. As for good team, I'm bad, we now have a husbandry. And that Carnivora means that units will have to back off. It does seem like we do have these myth units which are still an issue for Gaia. I suppose these Caladrias, it's not worth to be made, not worth making them, and so he is still with the same one as before. He is still healing that hero oracle from before, from the start of the game. And Ayah is now popped, even though he's at 1 town center. It does seem like he is ahead by 2 citizens. Okay, Lorenzo did scout this gold mine, so the fight is going to be here. And this is where everybody's going. The party has now shifted. Okay, this is a huge problem. A huge problem right now. I'm not sure how that polar bear is attacking that Cheerio Ballista. That is also an issue. So It looks like that shockwave didn't do as much damage as it should have. It does seem like though it's still going to be hard for. It still seems quite even here, this encounter, as he does have reinforcements. These Cheerio Ballistas are picking off the Marmelo. I'm not sure why he made this Oracle hero. Ayah also now just making units. Good team bad. Making another barracks. So I guess no second TC by either player here. I was wrong. I guess it's just a full out war by both of these players here. We do have Prometheus. Does seem like Ayah will be losing this war, I think. It's about quite even now that with the reinforcements on the way. Looks like it's more heavy on Cheerio Ballista. Does seem like Ayah's ahead at this time. Now, good team, I'm bad. Has 2 TC. I was expecting him to take a second TC there towards the 6 o'clock corner, but I guess 9 o'clock corner is fine. This Caladria is really a problem for the Ronos player, just because it's been tracking a lot of arrows. It does seem like good team, I'm bad. Losing quite a bit of Terma here to Marmillo, and Ayah was able to defend this position. So he's going to have to back out a little bit. We do have 2 counter barracks and counter barracks here as well. So that's 8 Cheerio Ballista. That's a lot of Cheerio Ballista. And Ayah is popped at this time. And I do expect that he will be going for a second town center. So this is an issue because he is mining gold at this spot. Okay, that's a problem. So I guess Cheerio Ballista is considered siege. So these villagers, they do an additional 300% versus them. I guess not a bad strategy, but again, you lost 2 citizens. We do now have pickaxe, and we do finally have an economic guild by Ayah. And Ayah is doing a superb job here, defending his position. But that gold mine is just about to run out, so it looks like this will be the next party location. And the engagement will continue. We do have now a tower being built. Okay, so we are back in the match here, and obviously, um, good team I'm bad was able to defend this position for the gold, and so they are still fighting for survival. It's this gold mine versus that gold mine, and it's very, very intense fighting here. Um, Now, obviously, the Oranos player has an advantage in these encounters because they can choose when to fight and not to fight, just because the units are 10% faster. So that is definitely a huge improvement there. So these villagers are finally being pushed off. That TC is going up, and so he will go to that gold mine below. So we do have a relic here, infantry build time. It seems to me that Ayah's army is smaller, but for some reason, Lorenzo is running back. I'm not sure why. He does have a higher score by 300 points, though. Does have shaft mine now. Obviously now Ayah's coming around the corner. This could be a problem. Okay, I see what's going on now. So it does seem like he will lose at least one citizen here, which is unfortunate. And they will go directly onto these berries. Not sure where this army is going. Okay, this TC, okay. So this army is migrating to this side. And this army will go over here. We already have heroic age by both players. At the time of speaking, we have 22 minutes, 22:01. And now we have the palace being built right here by the gold mine. And we already have a market built by Lorenzo. And it sounds like 3 citizens died there. This is a very weird situation right now. We have 7 citizens being trapped by a bunch of dryads, and this does not look good for good team I'm bad. Looks like he just got stuck in a shitstorm of dryads and a bunch of other stuff. And so he lost over 6 citizens there, which is very critical. Not looking good. Not looking good. Ayah going on his way to Mythic, whereas good team bad is already 70% almost Mythic. Keep in mind, Ayah is still 2 TC though, and good bad is 3 TC, and so remaking those villagers shouldn't be that difficult. Does seem like Lorenzo wants to go Titan though because of that backward Hesperitus tree. So that is an issue right here. issue because now Ayah is going to lose his second TC. And he doesn't even have his other TC there. And we still have 2,800 gold or so on this mine. We have another mine here. So Lorenzo could very well get gold starved if he doesn't back up. And he calls it GG here. Just because Ayah was able to get Mythic Age, he does call GG, and we do have 3-0. So obviously Ayah is still undefeated, and we're going to have to figure out another player to play against Ayah and to end the Ayah regime. Just because, you know, he's been winning every show match. So look out for it next Sunday, and we'll see what we can do in regards to another opponent for Ayah. Now this time we want to for sure make sure that you know, we give Ayah a run for his money. You know, he's been collecting bank, and it's well deserved, don't get me wrong, but we are calling out for an opponent that can take out Ayah. So if you think you're that person, let me know, and we'll put you up to the test and see how you do. So thank you guys for watching. Do look out for our next show match next Sunday. Obviously the winner keeps on playing until he loses, so you could expect Ayah to play next week. And so here are some of the other tabs. We do see military units killed, units lost.
They want an interview.
Let me see if I can bring Lorenzo on the microphone here real quickly. If you guys can spare me a few minutes. Okay, yeah, we are getting Lorenzo for an interview real quick, so stay tuned. 2 minutes, we are getting him on the call right away. Yeah.
So not only did he not lose a single game, not only did he not lose a single series,
Yeah.
he never lost a single game.
Yeah. Yeah, he's undefeated. He's so far undefeated, the undefeated master. So we are getting Lorenzo on the call now, so just give us a moment. We'll get him, we're just connecting. And we're going to get some quick comments as to the gameplay there in Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3. Okay, just so stand by here with us, guys. We'll bring Lorenzo online in just a few minutes here.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? We do have Lorenzo here. Uh, hey,
I think your
Lorenzo.
mic is muted. Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, perfect. We just saw you play in that show match there, the best out of five. You did good, do a good, you did do a good job for considering that you've been away from the game for roughly how many years now? 10 years.
Depends on how you define away from the game. Like, you mean the last time I played one versus one somewhat seriously is like 4 years, maybe five.
Right, competitively.
But the time I was actually active is over 10 years ago,
Right,
maybe like 12 years. I mean,
right,
I don't play the game, right? So,
right. So that third match was incredible. I mean, I think in fairness, you did good in every match. I mean, it wasn't just a sweep. I mean, again, you're playing against Ayah here. Ayah has been knocking out every person that he's been playing against here, even the top players. We saw Ayah versus a player, Ayah versus more, Ayah versus this guy, that guy, and so he's definitely at the top of his game right now.
Oh, someone has a question.
Is there something you can tell us? What was the first match that was played on?
There's Tundra?
Yes, it was Tundra. So perhaps Lorenzo, if you can, we'll just ask a couple questions, and perhaps you can make a few comments. I want to ask you about
yeah,
that.
sure, it's fine.
I want to ask you about that Tundra match. Obviously, Aya was raw there, and and
I was around, yeah.
you were Arano. So can you tell us a little bit about what mistakes you think you made and what you could do better next time?
Um, I think, let me just state off that I feel like I should have won all three games based on matchup alone.
Right.
I definitely feel that if you would have like shown just the map and the matchup, and you would say, okay, these are two players, they're equal skill, who should win? Like, I would have picked me to win three games based on the matchup. But I mean, as I said earlier, like, I don't really play the game, so that's obviously an issue. The first map, yeah, like I told you, I should have won. The main mistake that I made was he was like circling around my base with his pharaoh, and I
Yeah,
was
I
trying
noticed
to
that.
be, yeah, I was trying to be cheeky there and like garrison my villages
Right.
so that so that he couldn't shift. However, I think that actually did more economic damage, like me trying to avoid shift, than the shift itself would have done. And on top of that, he could have saved shift like that. So that was obviously really bad. So actually surprised that his pharaoh just didn't die. Like, it was just circling around my base like 10 times.
Right.
And as that happens, I was kind of like, well, I'm really fucked now. Because like I thought, I thought it would do like one lap and then I would just kill it or it would go back home. But instead it
Right.
just keeps circling and I can't kill it. And I'm losing like economy time because I'm
Right.
garrisoning my villages and I'm like, okay, I'm really fucked now. This is probably
So
not gonna work, but
so what you're saying is obviously you had a lot of idle villager time, um, trying to avoid shifting sands on your villagers there.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's not just that. It's I think I was still in an okay spot after that. It's just I didn't scout his gold mine, which is just my bad. Like, there's no reason not to scout it because I had more control of it. I didn't scout his gold mine to the left and he got walls up. So I couldn't pick a fight there properly with Shockwave because he had the. And that's normally what you do, right? Normally you pick a fight at the second gold with Shockwave and then you win the game. That is how it's supposed to go. But I had a really rough start. And on top of that,
Discord.
I also wasn't able to pick the fight with Shockwave because he had walls up. I
Right.
actually thought he would go for the other mine, like where his third was. I had a turn on there actually to cover the DC and his gold mine, but he went for the unscouted gold mine, which again is just my bad. Like he got the wall up, and then after that, like I told you, I can pick the fight with Shockwave, so it's not really anything I could have done. That was just poor play by me, really. I don't think he played exceptionally well, by the way. I mean, obviously he played fine.
Right.
It's
Okay.
just, I mean, what can I do?
Okay. So, is there any comments you want to make, perhaps on the Anatolia game, or any comments you want to make on that third match that we played on, that you played on now?
Yeah, so let's just do it in order, like with the Anatolia game.
Sure.
Again, Anatolia game, I felt like I should have won that based on matchup. I do
Right.
think Zeus is a little bit stronger than Set, although it can get tricky if he like denies dogs or something. You never know how to do it. So he has like a lot of animals. I was looking for his priest at the beginning to bolt, but I couldn't find it. But that's okay. You're not always guaranteed to find it. And he let me get the dogs up, so that was nice. So there's basically two things you can do. You can go. Actually, yeah, okay, sure. There's two things you can do. So you can build in the middle, or you can go really hard on water. And I kind of tried to do both.
Yeah.
I think my strategy was viable, just my execution was really, really bad. So what you do is you go heroic, you make Skilla, and then you win at least one side of the water. However, I didn't finish him on water, which was kind of sad because after that I lost a lot of economy, so I couldn't
Right.
properly
So,
hit the middle. But yeah, that's basically the main thing. What I should have done, because my strategy was fine. You can do my strategy efficiently. There's nothing wrong with the strategy. It's just it's unnecessarily hard to execute. Like I don't think it was a good idea to go for such a strategy reliant on execution. And then just as he moved out, I thought he had trade set up actually,
right.
because his other TC was at the right side. So I went over to his left side to see if he had caravans, and I went with all of my army, which again was probably bad. And then he moved out just as my army was out of position. It was kind of unfortunate, but again, it's still my bad. And I had no economy because he researched heroic fleet. I noticed, and I didn't really have the economy to do much about that on water.
Gotcha.
So I just lost water, and then I had no army in the middle. So that was
Gotcha.
game two.
So recap. You should have finished at least one side of the water, and then perhaps not have your army out of position. Is that
What I probably should have done is not go for like the forward build stuff. What I
yeah?
should have done is probably just go really, really hard on water.
Right.
Make a lot of Skilla, make
Right.
a lot of seed ships, and then
Okay.
just go straight to Mythic.
Okay.
Because unlike ISIS, he doesn't have anything to do against my ceasefire. If he was ISIS, he could make like a forward Migdon and push me with siege and A plus E. But as said, like I mean, if he does that, then I will seize his ancestors, and he will have like the triple heroes or maybe even four heroes if I manage to get Bellerophon out. So
Gotcha.
not a very good idea. I should have just gone for that, to be honest. It would have been a lot better. It's no guarantee that I would have won if I had done that, because I mean, I also lost Ramos versus Gaia, so I was probably not going to win any game. But that would probably have been giving me more odds of winning. So.
Okay. So what can you tell us about that last match in regards to um, critical mistakes made, or you know, any mistakes that you saw or that you could have done better?
Yeah, so I should win that matchup no matter like where the gold mines are. Even if he has like two gold mines in his base, I should still win that matchup, is what I wanted to clarify
Right.
before I say what I'm about to say.
Right.
But I was a bit unlucky with that. His second gold is like all the way in the corner, about as far as it can be. So my units take a lot longer to get there than his units, obviously.
Right.
I mean, I still should have won because I have like the Prometheans, which are really good against the Cairo Ballista. I have the Shockwave, I have the faster units, I have the Valor. I have everything because it's Soranos against fire, so I still should
Gotcha.
have won. But obviously, there's a difference in skill because I don't play the game, so it's
Well,
difficult to win against someone who does play the game.
well, Rusty for sure then.
Yeah, I would not even say rusty. I would just say like completely uh, like alchemy levels of rust, just completely turn into rust. Because I actually played some games. What I did to prepare for this, like I didn't, absolutely not touch the game and then play. I played some build orders against the computer,
Yeah.
just for the hotkeys and you know adapting to the map if it's like random. That's what I did. I played some build orders against the computer. And earlier today, I played some 3 versus 3 games. I think 3 or 4 with Indivision and Danny.
Yeah.
So that was basically my preparation for this. But before that, I hadn't touched the game for like years
So
in either team games or so
so
yeah, both games.
just to clarify, so you only played a couple 3 versus 3s. You didn't do any 1v1s for preparation?
No, I played 0 1 versus 1s. I
Okay.
like the last 1 versus 1 I played. These not counting is like 5 years ago or something.
Right.
It's not,
Okay.
unless you want to count the PC games, but that was
Yeah, check it out.
Gotcha.
PC doesn't really do anything. So yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just not much I could have done. Um,
So
yeah, I'm happy though that the maps and matchups were in my favor. Because if those weren't in my favor, like
it would have
would
been
not have been it would not have been pretty. So
right.
at least that was nice that I did get better map and matchup all 3 games. So
Okay, that's a fair statement. So we do have a question, a quick question here. How much hours of practice would you need to feel to have a better than 50% chance of beating Ayah? So I guess the question would be, to sum up, how many hours of practice do you think you would have needed to at least win this series, or at least to win a few matches from this series? Would you say, to get
it's
back in
kind
form?
of difficult.
It's difficult to answer,
Difficult
right?
to answer in terms because it's not like I'm completely game rusty because I play some other games. I play StarCraft 2 at Master 1 tier, but I haven't touched that in 3 weeks either because my graphics card had some issues. And
Right.
I'm using a really shitty one. It's giving me too much lag in StarCraft 2, so I
Okay.
haven't touched that in like 3, maybe even 4 weeks. I would have to check. Even though I'm also just kind of bored with the game, so it's not really an excuse. But so it's not like I don't have any RTS skills, right? But as an example, in StarCraft 2, you don't have any preset hotkeys. What I mean by preset hotkeys is if I press Control plus R, it goes to the armory, right? Or if I play H, then it goes to the town center. But what I like in StarCraft 2, the muscle memory to go back to like your bases, you double tap the hotkey for your equivalent of your town center. So the issue is what I noticed I noticed this even in the 3 versus 3 games, by the way. What I noticed is I'm using like a lot of muscle memory things just in the heat of the moment as kind of an automatism while playing AOT, which is quite bad. And as another example, if you have something selected and you want to deselect something, what you do in StarCraft 2 is you press Control, and Control will deselect it. However, in AOT, it's the exact opposite. If you press Control, then you will not deselect it, but you will only select that unit. If you press Shift in StarCraft 2, you will select that specific unit and add it
Right.
to it. Whereas in AOT, it's exactly reversed. So what Control and Shift does in AOT is exactly reversed in StarCraft 2. So I was kind of
So
struggling with
so a bit
it.
trippy there.
Yeah, and that it seems like a small thing, but it does kind of matter. Like if I'm moving around my army, for
Yeah.
example, in the Oranos versus Ra game on Tundra,
Yeah.
I had my oracles grouped with my Turma, and as you know, oracles they're really really slow. And the way AOT works is with the formations, so the
Right.
movement speed of units gets adjusted to the slowest unit. So I kept deselecting my oracles, so my Turma and Miller would move faster. But I noticed that like they weren't getting deselected. I was super confused by it, and then I was like, oh, it's because of the control and shift swap. That's why. So it's stuff, and that's just one example. There are more examples. That's not why
Yeah.
I lost, but it certainly didn't help.
Yeah.
It's just more. Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Uh,
But to answer the question, because I do want to answer the question,
yeah.
I think if I played as much as Aya would, I think he would have 0% win chance in any matchup I would consider fair. Because I mean,
Right.
AOT is especially no patch.
Yeah.
it's kind of random, right? Like if you get really bad gold or bad hunt or just some random lucky things, okay, you can lose. It doesn't really matter. But if we had like equal everything,
Uh huh.
then he would. If I played as much as he did,
Right.
and I don't know exactly how much he plays, but I have an idea, right? Because I looked at his profile to
Right.
actually see, you know, what god he plays because it's relevant for build orders and such. And
Yeah.
notice he plays a fucking shitload of games. Like I went through pages and it's all the same days. It's like 15, 20 games in one day for like the last I don't know how many months slash years. Like
Right.
if I played that much, like he would win 0 out of 100 games of equal games. It's just yeah,
So that is
it's
pretty
insane.
crazy.
He would never win, never. But in
Right.
terms of just hours, how many hours I would need, it's really difficult to say. So
So obviously a lot of dedication there by Aya.
yeah, yeah, of course. And I mean, he should win. Like, what kind of game are we playing if someone who plays this, I don't know how many hours per day would lose against someone who doesn't play? Like, would be a pretty bad game, right? Because you need a way to display skill or more skill over another
Yeah.
person who is not playing. So it's obviously expected, but yeah.
Okay. So I think that answers the question. It answers all the questions we had for today. Um, obviously, we're going to have to. We have another show match scheduled for next Sunday. We're going to have to find Aya a new opponent, somebody who can take him out. Give him the beat down, and as they say in Texas, take him out to the shed and shoot him.
That's not
Yeah,
what they say
that's
in Texas, bro.
So
Lorenzo, you gotta get back in shape so we could see more games, man. That was entertaining as hell.
yeah,
yeah, I mean, it was okay. It's just AOT. It hasn't aged well. It's just objectively, I would say, a shitty game compared to 2019
well,
equivalents that
hey,
are available.
well, hey,
So
I
That
still
may be true, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know if it's nostalgia or what, but
no, it's definitely nostalgia. There's a lot of games where I notice, or actually just anything in life. There's a lot of things. This is getting off topic, by the way. I don't know how much you want to continue, but there's a lot of things in life that don't age well because of nostalgia. They are just really good. Like an example is Dragon Ball Z. I am pretty much like the biggest Dragon Ball Z fan you can find. Like I can pretty much pick any episode, any part, and I can give you like the whole script of like all the dubs, the Ocean dub, the English dub. Like I have Dragon Ball Z characters. The reason I got into the gym was because of Dragon Ball Z, right? And I was trying to sell it to a girl because that's what I do when I go on dates. Like instead of doing the regular male things that you go do, like I convince them instead of Netflix and chill to watch Dragon Ball Z. That's what I do. So, and I was convincing her to watch Dragon Ball Z because she liked anime, right? So I was like, oh, you should watch Dragon Ball Z. And I'm rewatching Dragon Ball Z with her, and I realized, wow, this is really shit. Like the animation is just
wow.
and I'm,
yeah.
and I'm just like, the animation is shit. This is not how I remember it. Animation is shit. Story is slow. Like there's no clear explanation of like power levels. Like the magic system isn't properly introduced until like I was like, oh, this is really shit. And she was like, oh, this is kind of boring. And I was like, yeah, you're right. But because of nostalgia, I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's
So
the same with AOT, to be honest. It's just the exact same. Like because of nostalgia, you're like, wow, it's great and what. But then if you actually try to be non-biased and you objectively look at the game, it's just a really, really bad game. Yeah. So
um,
those are my thoughts.
uh, okay. Well, that's your opinion, obviously,
Obviously, yeah.
and some of us share different opinions. I think my opinion is well known. That I think this game is just absolutely incredible. The entertainment value is very high, and that's why I play games. I play it for the entertainment value. I don't play whether or not it's balanced or not. I play it solely for the entertainment value. So I do think there's a lot of that in this. Um, whether or not people can understand or how to grasp or how to pull that from a game. Sometimes you have to work hard to understand how to have fun in a game, right? So sometimes you have to
Yeah, it's true.
exploit some things. Sometimes you have to, um, you know,
Titan
whatever,
Wonder with wall segments.
whatever it is, right? So I think that's all the time we have for today. I'm gonna end this stream here. And again, I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll be back next Sunday with a new opponent for Ayah, and perhaps we'll do another show match this week. As usual, subscribe and all that, and we'll see you later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. See you later.